Welcome to the 2015 La Costa Operational Plan. Today we're going to spend a little time going over some of the specifics of our plan for operating the organization in 2015. I'm sitting here today with the senior leadership team on the operational side of the business. So we want to go around the table and do some quick introductions. Jim?
Jim Kelly, Senior District Manager, Safety and Compliance.
Chris Rodanis, Senior Regional Director.
George Garcia, Senior DM of Southeast and West.
Mike Wessinger, Senior District Manager of Southeast, also working with warehouse and operations.
So our goal today, our agenda, is to walk through some of the points that we think are very important to try to clarify for everyone for 2015. Some of the things we're going to walk through are the organizational chart, our new scorecard that helps direct you to the things that we're looking for operationally. We're going to talk about a modified team call and a modified escalation call. And then we'll have some other discussion points and policy changes that we want to make clear to everybody, and then a bit of a review. So I want to start by talking a little bit about the organizational structure in 2015. Chris Rodanis and I are splitting the country in terms of sales and operations. And then underneath Chris and I are going to be George, Mike, or Jim, and they manage the operational activity and the operations managers. So on that, the operations managers are really the ones that we task with the compliance and the delivery day-to-day to our customers. So the operations managers will report up through Jim, Mike, or George, and then Jim, Mike, or George report into Chris and I based on geography.
Next to the operational team is the regional directors. The regional directors also report into Rob or I based on geography. The regional directors are counterparts to the district managers, and their main job is sales and business development. They manage accounts and are sought after to manage contracts, customer satisfaction and relationships, and anything else that can go into account management of the business. Going into 2015, we have a plan for safety, quality, delivery, and cost. Fundamentally, we want to push our people to perform their jobs safely while having each job completed with quality, ensuring delivery of our obligations to the customer while having a cost-efficient model for the customers and the company. In order to push these objectives, we've implemented a scorecard system to evaluate performance and progress on each one of these KPIs. The scorecard, which you'll see soon, is broken down into two categories: tasks and result measures. Tasks are defined as yes or no items. These tasks will be input by the home office, and you're either compliant or not compliant, and is an all or nothing scale. If one account is out of compliance, then a no will be issued as a task. Result measures are metric driven and will be influenced by your tasks. Result measures will also be measured by the home office and reported out monthly. Quarterly, your scorecard will be scored and given to you as performance review and progress towards your KPIs. For the scoring of the scorecard, this will be tied to an incentive and a bonus payout for each operations manager. The total possible payout is 2.5% of your base salary. The scoring of the scorecard will be based on each metric involved. This scorecard will be tied to an incentive of 2.5% of your base salary. This will be reviewed quarterly and equates to a 10% total possible bonus each year. Each metric, safety, quality, delivery, and cost, makes up 25% of the total possible 2.5% payout. Therefore, if you score a cumulative 90% in Q1, you will receive 90% of your 2.5 possible bonus payout, which equates to 2.25% bonus of your base salary. Incentives will be paid out the month after quarter and the month closes. To be eligible for the incentive, the manager must be actively in charge of accounts for the entire quarter period.
The first tab on the scorecard is the safety tab. Identifies the key performance indicators and some critical measures. Safety coaches identified in each account, BOSs, weekly tabulated, STAs, done daily. Those are daily documents that have to be done by every employee and signed off. Company safety courses completed on your weekly and bi-weekly schedule that's turned into all of us. And then the critical measures, which are recordables, first aid cases, claims, and injuries. And as you can see, we allow for 5 first aid cases per quarter, but no recordables, no lost time injuries, because those would obviously lead to claims.
On the second tab is quality. Quality, we will be judged on all cases logged and closed at the accounts within 24 hours of when they were submitted. Cases are for all internal and external service issues. Inspection standards are in place and functional at all accounts. Service call logs, the daily inspection, the closing inspection, and the hotspot inspection. Time and task and visual work instructions on site, and they also must be updated in Salesforce. Work schedules, tasks completed, up to date, on site, and or functional. We will also have point of contact surveys, at-risk alerts, site visits missed, and field training completion. The third tab is delivery. All schedules are accurately logged into schedule alert system with the home office. All the employee schedules pages responded to within 24 hours. 100% participation in recruiting efforts with the home office recruiting program, and a backup plan in place and effective for unexpected absenteeism and accounts. You'll be graded on the result measures of turnover, the percent of total page alerts, average days to fill open recs, and T&M percentage billed versus billable.
Okay, under costs, the required tasks include the following. Equipment preventive maintenance program in place at all accounts. And you can get assistance from your district manager, or you can contact myself if there's no district manager in that region. Management schedule accurate and in place in Salesforce and Teleteam. We just went through this exercise and everyone has their schedule in place. If there's any changes, they have to go through the senior district managers. Efficiency improvement sent through the senior DM 1 per quarter. What that means is if you find any efficiencies in your buildings, for example, you can reduce a couple of hours from an employee and you utilize other equipment like an iChariot or something else to improve efficiency, you can bring that up. You're required to bring one up at least per quarter to senior management. And progressive discipline and terminations logged via Salesforce and followed 100%. What that means is the key part of that is the documentation. Even if an employee quits, no call, no show, you have to log in all the information in Salesforce and make sure it's very detailed. And now the result measures under costs. Under net operating budget, you have to beat your net operating budget by at least 1%. And we will discuss this individually with each of you if you have any questions. A non-billable overtime, the max you can have for a quarter is also 1%. Under your VCM budget, you have to beat your VCM budget by 3%. And revenue growth per quarter, 5%. What that means is you can seek out opportunities such as project work, painting, any other services that we perform that includes revenue growth. Under lost account, the benchmark there is 0. We cannot lose any business. If you lose any business, that voids all incentive for the entire area. Okay? And property damage, that is also 0. We cannot have any property damage. Safety is number 1. So we have to be very careful, and that's why we're conducting weekly training, monthly recruiting, but safety is very, very important. Under lost account, I just want to add one point, that if the building closes due to the closure of the account, Not that it has anything to do with La Costa, that will not go against your metrics.
In order for this scorecard to work for us and for you, there can be no incomplete areas. Each of you need to think of this as a scoreboard, a showcase to document your hard work and commitment and effort. This document defines how you are doing, how well you're performing, and it's visible to all the senior management here, the ownership, and your peers. For those of you who might be confused about how to do this or be uncertain about how to be successful here, know that George, Mike, and myself are responsible to get you the tools and the equipment and the support that you need to be successful. Just as you have obligations to train monthly and weekly, we're obligated to train you so that you're successful here. Your incentive is tied to our incentive, so your results are tied to all of ours. So none of us are going to succeed if you don't succeed. So you need to raise your hand to get help here if you need help. Most of you are halfway there, so let us help you get the rest of the way there. If you have any issues or complaints where you think that you can't handle something, you need to contact us. We're all there to support you.
As all of you know, we perform team calls in La Costa in order to improve communication throughout the organization and deliver the same message to all levels of the organization. These team calls are very valuable to our organization and very valuable to the communication of the entire company. I want to reiterate that throughout these team calls, you have all levels of senior leadership down to the daily delivery, and any issues should be brought up so that any open items can be resolved. Going into 2015 and going forward from here, we are revamping the format and the layout of the team call to improve communication and improve the flow of the call. These calls will be focused on account discussions, recruiting training, open cases, pages and schedules, manager schedules, over and under budget issues, escalated items, and goals for the upcoming week. The RD DM site visits will be reviewed, and then there will also be an open forum section. Also on this slide, you can see the schedule for the team calls to open up any confusion on when other team calls can be. The ground rules for the escalation and team calls are as follows. Every call should start and end on time, very punctual. You need to show up prepared for each call that you attend. Showing up prepared does not mean just calling into a call. It means coming with documents ready and answers ready for any questions or any issues that may come up. These should be very fact-based discussions. No fluff or beating around the bush on what an item or obstacle can be. Stick to the facts and bring up any obstacles you are facing or successes that you think you can share with your team and your peers. Commitments that you make on the team calls are to be held to and completed by the next week. Attendance of these team calls are mandatory, as it is a best practice and a standard of La Costa. Notes should be documented and stored each week immediately after the call is completed by the DM. The roles of the team call start with the operations managers. These operations managers, or any operations manager on the call, should review their dashboard key performance indicators, review commitments for the prior week, provide input of each assigned account based on previous week activity, provide positive and negative feedback, and share best practices with the team and their peers. The district manager role is to lead the call and keep the call on topic and manage the clock. The district managers should also document all notes and commitments should be metric driven. An example would be, I am going to reduce my page count from 20 to 10. The regional director's role on the team call is to provide the voice of the customer. They can do this through their partnership meetings, reviewing any open cases that they submitted over the last week, and providing anything else that could be valuable to the call from the voice of the customer. The senior team's role on the team call is to provide the support to the regional directors, operations managers, and district managers in order to allow them to achieve their key performance indicators and achieve their goals. The senior team should also announce company policy and structure changes on the call so there is no confusion. The office and administrators in the office can also join the team call. These departments could be HR, finance, payroll, and IT. They will attend on a case-by-case basis if needed, if there are outstanding or escalated items. The dashboard is new to the team call and a new best practice. This dashboard will be sent out to you for the prior week before the team calls. This dashboard reviews the key performance indicators we'd like each operations manager to review on the call. As you can see, it goes over cases opened last week, pages sent out last week, open requisitions, untimely terminations, improper terminations, site visits completed, and any over and under budget issues. All of these key performance indicators tie back to your scorecard and the metrics we want you to drive going forward into this year.
And the next slide is the escalation call and the team call. They will seem similar and we will discuss the same topics. However, with the escalation, we will target the red flags. Examples of these are, in the team call, we're going to talk about all the open recs. In the escalation call, we're only going to talk about the open recs that are 3 days old. Another example is, in the team call, we're going to talk about all the cases that week. In the escalation, we're only going to talk about the cases that are 2 days old. Another, team call, all the pages total. In the escalation, we're going to talk about all the pages that have not been answered.
Under other discussion points, employee paging. Going forward, all employee pages must be responded to. So you will have to go into Salesforce and put down a reason for the employee page. For example, if the employee's late, excuse absence, or no-show. So you will have to document that for every single page. It is extremely important here in the next few weeks that you get your schedules in place and correct for every single employee. If there's been changes in the last month or so, we have to update that and make sure they're accurate. Everything has to be inserted into Salesforce through the Salesforce system. Schedules. Schedule changes must be submitted to the senior district manager. Schedule changes are defined as permanent change to clock in and out and staffing increases or decreases. No changes can be made to the schedule without approval from your senior district manager. Schedule exceptions should be submitted to the office within 24 hours in advance of the occurrence. Schedule exceptions are defined as a temporary change that can revert back to the normal in less than 1 week. For example, if an employee's car breaks down and he has to take the bus for a period of a week or two or whatever, and can't come to work at 7 in the morning, but will be there at 8 in the morning, that's a schedule exception, but you have to enter that in the system. Progressive discipline. All progressive discipline needs to be documented and logged into Salesforce. Staffing vacant positions. Field must submit an open requisition for any vacant position. Even if you have a candidate ready to onboard, you cannot onboard that person until you have submitted an open requisition. You can recruit and source candidates locally. You can guide them. You can even help them with the application process and instruct candidates how to apply online. You can also contact recruiting for any additional support and find candidates that you have referred. Recruiting is able to support the field by completing applications over the phone if the employee has no, or the candidate has no access to a computer. So this is a very valuable tool. In some locations, candidates don't have access to computers, don't have any at home. Typically it takes 5 to 7 minutes where the employee would call the corporate recruiting office and the recruiters would help them over the phone to submit their application. Under other discussion points, manager schedules. All managers must punch in and out of Palatine every day at every site that they visit. So some managers haven't been doing this. You will need your employee number. If you don't have that information, you can contact your senior district manager or corporate office. Schedules logged into Salesforce and approved by your senior district manager. In every one of your schedules, you have a training day and a recruiting day. Typically, the training days are weekly for each of your regions, and you have to make sure you follow that schedule. Any exceptions to that, please contact your senior district manager. And the recruiting days have to be coordinated with the corporate office recruiting team. So make sure that is scheduled at least 1 to 2 weeks in advance. If a schedule change must occur, senior district managers must be notified prior to the change. Inspections. Site visit inspections have been reworked and improved. You will notice when we roll this out to everyone that some of the site visits have been shortened and are more site-specific. For example, medical clinics and schools that were previously not included, you will see some of those questions included in the site visit inspections. You must still complete your hotspot closing and weekly inspections on site. Promotions and advancements. The maximum step-up increase that you can give to any employee is 15%. So what does that mean? If you have, let's say for example, you have a supervisor who's making $12 an hour, and you want to promote an internal candidate who's doing an excellent job. It could be a day porter, it could be an employee at night, it could be a warehouse service employee, and that employee is making $9 an hour. You cannot take that employee from $9 an hour and move him to $12 an hour, which was the previous rate of the supervisor who left the company. You have to go in 15% increments, which means a $9 employee, the max that you can give to that employee will be $1.35. So that employee will move up to $10.35, and then you have to place that employee in a 30, 60, and 90-day training program with corporate manager, the training manager, and the recruiting manager. So that is very, very important. Anyone who is promoted from a service line employee to a supervisor has to go through that 30, 60, and 90-day training plan. Time and task are standard and standard work instructions. This is mandatory at every site. You should have your visual work instructions, your time and task in place, and you should update them regularly. Typically you have those saved electronically somewhere on your jobs, and actually they need to be in Salesforce. So you need to upload them into Salesforce, and you can then update them and print them out as you need it. They're a great training tool and a great guide for any employees, existing or new employees. They have to be accurate, they have to be updated, and they have to be in Salesforce. Thank you.
Okay, well, hopefully that gives some clarity on our 2015 operational goals. We're thrilled that you're here. We're very confident in what we're doing in 2015. We really started off the year with a bang, and I'm very excited about all the things that we have coming in 15 and beyond. Some very important things that we've done. We're working on separating out the two businesses between warehouse and operations and facilities housekeeping. There's going to be more on that to come. We've got some exciting programs going on with our manager and supervisor development. We really want to develop all of you and have you participate in this growth that we're experiencing. So all these things are going to be really exciting for all of us in 2015 and beyond. I'm thrilled to be working with this team. There's a tremendous amount of experience and wisdom in this team, and I think it's a great team to lead us, and excited to work with all of you. We will all get time to spend individually with you on your individual scorecards. So this was an overview, but know that we'll be talking about it regularly, and you'll be seeing your measures and metrics, and we're going to be talking a lot about metrics and measures this year, and hopefully we're making them much easier for you to see on a regular basis. We've worked hard on the technology side to deliver you these metrics on a regular basis, so you have a good idea of what your score is at all times, because we all like to see the score, we all like to have the metrics, but we really want to focus on improving and on making the problems visible and talking openly and honestly about driving things forward. That's what we're all here for. We're very proud of our company and all of you, and look very forward to 2015.